love them.
We're just coming up on the Tennessee River, which we are now crossing, just on our way to Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals, and here's the Fame Recording Studios. The brick hall started back in the early 60s. I'm sure this area wasn't as busy as it is now. It's a really busy intersection now. So let's go inside to take a look.
Allman Brothers performed in here. We did a lot of acoustic vocals, piano vocals, overdubs, stuff like that. Jason Isbell's earlier stuff was cut in here. A lot of time, and we do full band in here now. But some of the pieces in here, this organ, this is what was played on Mustang Sally. Anything in the 60s that had an organ on it was this organ right here. We just got it. It was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we got it back in December as well. This organ is 70s on. If it was cut in Studio B, 1970s on, it was this one. Now this piano, this is a very old piece, and it's very much out of tune. Even if we had it tuned, it would still be out of tune kind of deal. Now the very first hit that Rick had done was Arthur Alexander's You Better Move On, and that was the first international hit that was cut from the state of Alabama. That was done on this piano. And You Better Move On was recut by the Rolling Stones, and then side B of the record, A Shot of Rhythm and Blues, was cut by the Beatles. So after that is when he moved here. And when we first built in 1962, the very first hit that was cut in Studio A was Jimmy Hughes' Steal Away. Now Steal Away sat on the shelves after they recorded it. It sat on the shelves for like 2 or 3 years, and because it just couldn't get picked up. Well, Dan Penn and Rick Hall were sitting there, and they're like, we got something here. We got to do something about this. So they took the song, some 45 CDs. They got some 45s and loaded the car down with vodka and records, and went around to all the black radio stations in the Southeast and would take the disc jockeys a bottle of vodka and a record. And when they would leave town, Steal Away was playing on the radio, and that's how it became a hit. But that was done on this piano as well. So. It's very, very old. Here, we'll go check out Studio A, and I'll play you guys some music. This is where 98% of all the hits were cut. Bobby Gentry did her Fancy album here. Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, Clarence Carter, Etta James. And then it's almost like he did a different genre a decade. In the 60s, he was known for doing all this, making this soul music with black artists and white musicians. It was just unheard of. In the 60s in Alabama, where segregation was like, it wasn't that bad here, but it was further south. But it was still a thing. It was still an issue. And that's what put him on the map. It was all this soul music. And then the 70s, he kind of geared in with pop. He had Paul Anka, Mac Davis, Tom Jones, Andy Williams, Wild Cherry. He did all the Little Richard, all these pop. He was producer of the year in the 70s. And then the 80s is when he geared in with country. He started doing Shenandoah, Alabama, Tammy Wynette, Jerry Reed. He even recorded on Hank Williams Jr.'s album. It's because of this studio and everything that was done here This was the first one in this area, and really in Alabama, we're the longest one still going. Everybody else wanted to open up shop around. So at one time there was 12 other studios in this area producing hit records because everybody thought there was something in the water. And there was kind of like this, we had this geographical something, man, I'm not really good at all that kind of crap. But he came through here who studies bodies of water. And he said now that there are 3 bodies of water that run underneath this studio, and they meet right in this area. Now, we haven't really went and investigated this because I don't really want it to turn out wrong because that's a really cool story, so I'm going to stick with it. Now, this piano or this organ over here, that's the one that, like, anything that had an organ on it in the 70s that was cut in here was in here. That was that one. Now, this is not the Wurlitzer that Spooner played. I don't know where that one's at. I'm sitting here looking for it. I hadn't been here this week, so I don't know where it's at. But they must have it. It may be back there. But yeah, there's the organ that Spooner played on Aretha's song. It's around here somewhere. Now this piano is the one that Alicia Keys played when she was here. It was also the one that Steven Tyler sang to me at. He did. So he came in April of 2018, and he was on our album that we put out. Well, the last day he was here, I was like, Angel was my favorite song, right? And he's like, oh, really? So he guided me over to the piano and sat me down and sang Angel to me. I cried. It was such a good time. Yeah. This is the control room. When we were built in 1962, the bathroom was right there. That really didn't go over very well, as you can imagine. So when he added on in 67, he put them out there with two restrooms. Everybody used one. But right there is our tape machine, 2-inch tape, 24 track. We do still cut to tape, but it's really upon request of the artist if we do. I mean, it's very expensive. You're looking at $400 for a reel of tape, and you only get 15 minutes of music. Whereas opposed to digitally, you can record for an infinite number. Greg Allman cut to tape when he was here and dumped into Pro Tools to edit. Steven Tyler, when he was here, he did the same. That's his doodle right there on the console board. Yeah. But this is our Neve 8232 console. Is designed by a man named Rupert Neve. And he would almost go bankrupt every time he would design a new board. They're very expensive to make, so he would have to sell them for a ridiculous amount. So there's not very many of these made. I know enough about this board to make you think I know what I'm talking about, but I actually don't know how to work. I mean, I know what each thing does. I just don't know how to do it. My dad was an engineer here off and on for over 30 years, so I grew up here. I grew up in this environment. I grew up we had a studio in our home, and so I listened to the same 15 seconds of a song over and over and over and over again, and I'm like, I can't tell the difference. Do not, please stop. But he could. That's the album I played you guys right there.
Oh, it's not this one? I grabbed this one.
No, that's the soundtrack from the documentary. This is the album.
Oh, okay.
See, that's me.
Tyra Newkirk.
That's me. Rodney was in the control room, like, writing his thank yous, and I walked in there, and because we both, he came in one day. It's Alan Jackson's. He's like, Alan Jackson he wants to do the album, but he can only be here tomorrow. And I got a session together in an hour. Musicians, film, everything. So we worked our tail off on it.
So we just completed the Fame tour. only $10, really well worth it. The lady on reception was Miss Linda, as she called her, which was Rick Hall's, I don't know, but she was married to Rick Hall 58 years.
She didn't look that age.
Yeah, she said 58 years. She said 58 years. Yeah. So Rick Hall, the producer, the creator of Fame Studios, who's now passed on, of course, but his wife Miss Linda is working reception there. And we had a really good tour guide taking through the 2 studios with so many classic songs recorded by Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, Delbert McClinton's recorded here, Bob Seger, the Osmonds even have recorded in here. Yeah, classic stuff.